spent this weekend in northwestern Massachusetts at the Rowe Center. Yeah, a friend of mine from Transition Framingham bought me tickets to participate in Joanna Macy's workshop, and I thought instead of giving you guys a play-by-play of what we did all weekend, I would just talk about the importance of having elders in your life and just people with more wisdom than you. I think some people will call them mentors, but even I think mentorship is more of like a sustained relationship, whereas there's so much to learn even from just a 5-minute interaction with someone that's older and just has lived more life than you. And yeah, so there just really was no shortage of just amazing older people to look up to at this conference. So the workshop was called World as Lover, World as Self, with Joanna Macy, who's a Tibetan Buddhism scholar, has been an environmental and social activist since the 60s. She's traveled all around the world doing grief work with people, from people dealing with fallout, radiation from Chernobyl to Fukushima, work with Native Americans who are displaced and all of that, 9/11 survivors and whatnot. She's just, you know, if something absolutely horrible and horrendous has happened on the news, you know, it's like chances are she was there right after to help people deal with their grief. And yeah, it was interesting. It was just an amazing opportunity, and I'm so grateful to Alex who bought me the tickets, bought me really the opportunity to be able to go and experience this and just be in her presence. Like, I didn't even go up to talk to her or anything. She's just walked into the room and you knew she was there. She was just such a presence to be around, and she just had so much knowledge and love, and I was just grateful to be, you know, within 5 feet of her. I think in the group picture she like put her hand on my shoulder and I was like, but you know, you don't have to feel that way in the presence of all of your elders, though I think the ones that are especially impactful do have, in my experience, have had that feeling for me, where it's just I just listen to every single word like it's a paragraph. Like they just, at that point in life, it just seems like every word is so carefully selected and yet effortlessly selected that it's important, it has weight to it. Here, it just took it a step further spiritually, in that it wasn't like, oh, all of us, you know, everyone has a broken family or that everyone's experienced heartbreak. It's like, no, like we're all hurting right now because we see what's happening to this earth, and we understand that we can't even understand the gravity of the damage and the pain that the earth is going through right now on an individual level. You need other people to bear that burden, and it's okay to feel guilty and sad and depressed and overwhelmed by all of the fracking and the pipelines and the fires and the flooding and the drought. It's okay. Like, you're not crazy for feeling that way. Like, you're in denial if you're not, basically. If you don't feel for what this planet and the animals and the plants are and the oceans are dealing with, then that's your disconnect, not our oversensitivity. And it's not about making people who don't feel that way feel bad, necessarily. It's like, it's just, we'll just find other people who feel the way you do, like, and who are taking actions against it. And the thing about hanging out or just being in the presence, listening to older people who've lived more life, who've cried more tears, laughed at more jokes, overcome things that they have forgotten that they've overcome but have somehow imprinted into them, their personality. The opportunity there to just be around and listen to them is like absolutely priceless. We don't have that in our culture enough. Like, we take our older people and we put them in concrete boxes and let them, you know, give them medication and think that, and food and water, and think that that's enough. Like, we should be like sending them out to daycares and kindergartens and having them share their stories with the young people, and instead we lock them up with each other. It makes no sense. Our culture just does not value people. It values money and success. And in a weird way, it's all about the individual, and we completely have lost our humanity because it's all about the individual. And then look at how individuals are living. It's just, it makes no sense. There's so much to be gained from campfire stories, from grandmothers and grandfathers, and just the stories of hearing stories of how they stood up to culture back in the 60s and 70s, and how they haven't stopped. And the songs that they wrote back then are completely relevant to what I wish we had now. Pop music is a lie. It just, I mean, compared to folk music that actually brings people together, it's not music that you lock yourself in your room and feel bad about yourself. You know, like, woe is me, my life is so hard. And I've been there, fucking listened to Suicide Silence and, you know, felt bad about myself, and listened to Muse and just got high all throughout my teenage years, just feeling guilty for even helping the overpopulation of this planet. And it's not music like that. No. It's, let's all get together every once in a while and be in a mosh pit and punch each other and still feel isolated and afraid and angry. No, this is like, let's get together. This song only works if there's more people singing it and dancing it and actually meaning the words. So I have a new appreciation for that kind of music after this weekend. And like a real understanding that their generation deeply sorry to the earth. Like, it's not about my generation, it's not about me, you know? It's about 7 generations from now. It's about people in general. It's about their own children. And everybody feels like they haven't done enough. Everyone feels like there's more that they could have done to help stop the things that are terrible things that are happening now, to restructure our society to something that's sustainable and sane. The insanity of materialistic capitalism, and just how, forget unsustainable, just absolutely ridiculous it is to keep us in fear, to keep us obedient, to keep us craving and wanting more than we need, to keep us throwing out the things that we already have, to keep us in competition with one another instead of working with one another. So that we need to have these socioeconomic classes and races, and we need ways to differentiate ourselves so that we know we're on top of somebody else, so we can despise, resent the people above us and blame the people below us for everything. Rich people are the problem, like they're evil and they hoard all the money and they could just give it to the rest of us and things would be okay. And poor people put such a strain on society and they take up welfare and they're so lazy they should just pick themselves up by the bootstraps. So, you're somewhere in the middle, so good. You have enemies on both sides. The divisiveness of our culture, that our culture is based on, it's not serving us. It's not serving us at all. And there's a lot of people out there who have good ideas about how to fix it. Small steps. Small steps to turn into big actions. As scary and overwhelming as this all is, it was incredibly hope-bringing and inspiring to know that, like, I'm not alone. If you feel this way, like, you're not alone. This feeling, this connection to the earth, this disregard for the bullshit the media sells you, that it crosses races, it crosses age, it crosses states. I'm sure it crosses countries, though we had only Americans there today, this weekend. I'm just excited to see where it goes from here. I'm just grateful that I was able to go, have a bit of a shift in my understanding of who else is in this fight with me, who else is in this revolution.